This is All Things Ansys, a podcast from the technical support staff at PADT. Episode 61, we talk with PADT's Sina Ghods about Ansys Cloud and other cloud solutions, and explore what is new in the world of Ansys. Hi there, I'm Eric Miller, one of the three owners of PADT, and your host for this podcast. It's been another 2 weeks of working from home here at PADT, and all things considered, it's going really well. A few optimists are wondering if they need to go into the office and grab more hardware. They kind of thought this would be short term, so they just took a laptop home and maybe a few things. Now they're kind of thinking that maybe it's time to go in and go to their office, their cubicle, and get their equipment so they can have a more permanent setup at home. Maybe a better table, better chair, lighting, all that jazz. Kind of get settled for the long haul. But we're very fortunate to be doing everybody safe, and that's all we can ask for. I've gone full WFH and purchased one of those LED light ring thingies that I can clip onto my monitor or my phone, so my face doesn't look like I'm using a vampire filter in Snapchat. A little bit of forward lighting, so I don't quite look so much like death warmed over. So we're all getting used to having to turn on. I think most of the listeners of this podcast have probably been using online meeting tools for probably over a decade, but we're all getting used to all these other people getting involved and having to turn our cameras on and explain how to use the tool. Our support team is still moving licenses around for customers as they settle in at home and keeping people productive, all of our customers productive. And I think we should all be kind of thankful that we work in an industry, numerical simulation is a job in engineering that with the right technology, we can really get it done from pretty much anywhere. And so we're lucky to have that kind of a profession. This is episode number 61 of the podcast. So on this morning, which is 4/18/2020, we had 19,123 downloads, over 60 podcasts. So that's same as last week, 319 is the average. So we didn't grow up any. So get the word out, let people know about the podcast. Let's get our listenership up. Appreciate that. Before we listen to our interview, I wanted to bring up something in case you usually skip the news and such after the interview. I know some people just listen to the interview and stop there. Ansys is putting on an online user conference, and it is looking awesome. It's called Simulation World, and will be held on the internet from June 10th through 11th. And it's basically Ansys people and customers presenting what they use Ansys for. We're going to cover it more on the podcast in the coming episodes, but I wanted to make sure that everyone knows if you want to speak or present something, you have until April 24th. So please submit a topic now. That's not much time. This podcast will go out Monday on the 20th. So if you don't know about it already, hopefully you've heard about it. Maybe you were thinking, maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't. Spend the time. Go ahead and submit. You don't have to have the whole thing written. You just kind of have to have what you want to talk about, an overview, kind of some background on, what's the industry, what's the software you used, et cetera. At some point, they will want a headshot and a bio, but you don't need that in order to submit. It's not a required field. And let's be honest, this online event is only going to be good if you, the really power users and customers out there, present interesting stuff that other customers and power users want to see. So please do set aside some time and come up with a topic and get it in by the 24th. We'd love to know that people are submitting and we've got some good stuff to talk about. So, we are going to start on our interview today, and I chatted with Sina Ghods from our tech support team. He's our point person for Ansys Cloud and running the cloud with all the various methods. And since it is even more useful when we're working from home to have access to solving in the cloud, we thought it would be a good topic to just kind of focus on. So let's learn about the details behind solving in the cloud with Ansys products. But before we start, one thing I did notice is that with this whole work from home thing, we've seen a big drop in the audio quality on Microsoft Teams. I think they're throttling back. They've got so many people using it that they're dropping the number of bits that they're letting us use. So sometimes I'll talk to somebody and it's like it was before all this happened, and it's like they're inside my head. It's crystal clear. And then sometimes not so much. And this is one of those cases where it's not so much. There's a little bit of background static, and sometimes a little hard to hear what Sina's saying. But hopefully you'll get the gist of it. And we apologize. We're going to blame the virus like everybody else. We'll see you on the other side. I am joined today remotely by Sina Ghods, who is one of our CFD engineers and on our tech support team. Hey there, Sina.
Hi, Rick. Hey, everyone.
We're going to be talking about the cloud today, which is a good topic just in general, but because many of you listening are now working from home and may not have access to the compute power you're used to, or you're running across the internet anyway, you might as well be running in the cloud for some things. So we thought it'd be a really good topic to discuss, very relevant. In last week's podcast, we kind of touched on it briefly, but we'll get a little bit more in depth to it. So why don't we start, Sina, for new listeners, why don't you introduce yourself, what you do, and how you started using Ansys?
Yeah, I'm a CFD, Senior Application Engineer here at PADT. I'm with PADT about 3 years, a little bit less than 3 years. And I have a CFD background for maybe 12, 15 years. And always been an Ansys user. Sometimes Ansys was my main tool. And obviously, during the graduate years, the PhD days, we had in our in-house tools, but always been an Ansys user, basically fluent user most of the time. And also a cloud actually user, specifically again, during my graduate studies, I used to somehow use our clouds on campus, but it was kind of considered as a cloud because it was qualified for a cloud simulation. So I remember those days. It's really, I'm going to talk about it, but a great experience. Really, when an outsider kind of watches you, you're checking your cell phone, and then basically you can check your work and then you're sitting at a table or something, a dinner table. Kind of a great experience for others also. watching you dealing with the cloud computing. Yeah. One of those not sure necessarily. Not sure if it's necessarily pleasant to everyone when you're working while you're eating dinner. But yeah. So it's I have kind of background both CFD and cloud computing.
You know you're doing it too much when your young child goes, "Daddy, is your model converging now?"
Yeah,
that's maybe it's time to separate work and home.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good.
Or worse, when they can walk by your screen and tell whether it's converging or not.
Oh yeah.
Daddy, it looks pretty flat. Anyway, so I think a good place to start is to really kind of get an idea from an engineering perspective. Because I think a lot of the marketing material around Ansys Cloud kind of has an IT spin to it. Yeah. And I'd like to kind of get your take on what is this product called Ansys Cloud, and maybe explain that to everybody.
Yeah. So basically, if in a nutshell, if I want to explain it, Ansys Cloud is basically representing the customers with a single solution, and by a single solution, I mean it's a single software and hardware vendor, basically, that Ansys is providing the users with in a collaboration with Microsoft Azure, and it's available within the flagship tools right now, Fluent Mechanical, Electronics Desktop. It's in very easy access to on-demand HPC on Azure, as I mentioned. The HPC configuration is tuned specifically for Ansys simulations and is backed by Ansys tech support, basically. So again, in a nutshell, both the business side of it, everything is tried to be very uniform in a single vendor, both for software and hardware, and also even the experience that you deal with Ansys is trying to basically keep you the environment as familiar as it used to be. So you're still in your softwares that you're used to and familiar with. It's just a extra little dialog box that you click on it and then you upload your job to the cloud. So should be a very smooth introduction to the users to the cloud for Ansys users, basically.
I think it's a really good point that it's a single solution, because those of you who have followed PADT for a long time, and this was, I think, a little bit even before your time with the company, we tried to do our own cloud solution for our customers called Cores on Demand. And I think technically we got it right. I think that what we're seeing in a lot of these HPC solutions is kind of similar to what we were offering. Where we didn't get it right was the fact that the customer had to go to us to basically rent time on the machine, and then to whoever they bought their Ansys on for licenses. And that killed most of the people that killed the deals, not people, but killed the deals that most people were trying to do. So they wanted this surge capacity. They wanted to use our hardware. It was really good hardware at the time. But it was such a pain to kind of work through all the issuing 2 POs and getting licenses moved. And I think Ansys learned that not just from us, but other people that were trying to do HPC in the cloud. And so they really have streamlined it to where it's very easy to add this capacity.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit more about the hardware itself? You've got a decent, you're not just one size fits all, right? There's multiple.
No, there are multiple. If specifically, again, if you go with Microsoft Azure, which is the case, if you go with the Ansys Cloud Compute. There are different. First of all, physically, you can select among, I think, 7 different data centers locations: North and Central U.S., West U.S., East U.S., West and North Europe, and Central India, East Japan.
Global.
Global. There are 7 physical locations. If you want, you can select, and depending on the tool that you're using, either fluent or mechanical. Right now, it kind of gives you the option that if you want to use a medium, large, or extra large, it's a medium, large, or extra large job, basically, and based on that selection, it basically grabs different number of cores for your simulation.
Okay. Cool. And you've used it, right? I mean, it's fairly easy process.
Yeah. I was actually involved in the pre-release testing of this service, and it's really easy to use. And it's, again, very flexible and capable. You can post-process and monitor jobs actually from either your laptop or even your cell phone, and you can do like crazy things like even some type of quick visualization, 3D visualizations, like making in CFD world, making contours, rotating your model, putting some temperature or velocity contours on the model, even from your cell phone. So some real cool applications. You can obviously watch your residuals, watch your solution as it progresses.
And which Ansys products run on Ansys Cloud today?
Yeah, right now, actually, let me bring it. As I mentioned, it's Fluent for the CFD, mechanical for the FEA simulations, and electronics desktop that you can use. But I know more and more would be added eventually to the list. Yeah, they started from this, and they'll add more eventually for sure.
Well, we always joke, and it's not really a joke because it's true, that CFD guys will fill any compute capacity you provide them with. So I think offering up the cloud is very beneficial for the CFD work we do as a consulting basis, and I know our customers as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Any kind of getting into the user experience, any tips you want to give people that want to try it out? Well, first of all, let me back up. There's a free trial going on right now.
Yes,
right,
there is. Yes, if you go to ansys.com/cloud-trial, you can get the 30-day free trial again with full capability. It's not like a watered down version of a free trial. And also you get 1,000 Ansys Elastic units, which I'll explain. And 3 engineers can use this free trial at the same time with one account. So it's really a great, again, working from home situation right now. I think it's a great opportunity for everyone to use. But overall, I think the main or the most important thing to keep in mind that let's say that you have a specific computing capacity at work. And if the capacity, if you have a steady capacity that satisfies your needs over time, so obviously you can go with purchasing the perpetual licenses, Ansys licenses. If you have just one peak in a short term amount of time, but once in a year or so, probably the best option for you would be to lease or short-term lease, license lease, basically.
Right.
You know, you have a one-time customer or consulting that you want to do, and it's beyond your capacity. You just lease some extra licenses for a month.
Right.
But if this shortage of capacity happens frequently, like every week, every month, then here comes the cloud computing as the best solution. So you can have it always in your back pocket, and when it happens, it's financially it's more economic wise. It's better to have or use in this type of scenarios to use cloud computing. So that's probably the first suggestion or hint to the customers that kind of monitor your cycles or business cycles and see that which case is this, and then you can kind of justify it easily if cloud computing would be the best solution for you. Cool. And you brought up elastic licensing. Yeah, a topic that always confuses me. So why don't you explain it a little bit to the users? Yeah, it's kind of a new. It used to be a new concept to us as well. So it was kind of a transition for us also to make ourselves comfortable with this, but. Elastic licensing basically is a pay-per-use solution that enables usage-based licensing of virtually every Ansys product, and that's probably one of the most important features of it. Through a single license product, and it can, as I said, be a complementary to your lease or paid-up licenses. So it can be on top of that. It's not a separate thing. It's not necessarily a separate thing. And you can use it anywhere in the world. There is a license customer portal that you can log in and manage the usage of this license, the Elastic licenses that you have. And you can use it across all Ansys products, as I mentioned. So the Elastic really comes from the fact that you can use it from anywhere. You can use it with any type of license you already have, a lease or paid up, and you can use it for anything. And that's basically the Elastic where it comes from. Good. And yeah, so I think that's an important thing is Elastic enables cloud, but you can use Elastic on your own servers. You don't have to be on the cloud. Yeah, they're really making the cloud flexible. So in like if you could think of as a prepaid or lease license and Elastic licensing, and then cloud computing. It's you can use now both. You can take your care licenses to the cloud, or you can use the Elastic license. And also, it's same thing for on-premise, basically hardware that you have or local machines that you have. It would be the same thing. You can use either the prepaid or lease licenses, or you can use Elastic licenses. So you can match or mix any type of solution like cloud or local hardware with any type of licensing. Basically, it's a full flexibility. in terms of usage.
That's powerful. It's really powerful. I think it's something that we've been wanting for a long time, and cloud's just one place that it fits into. Any tips for users, getting in there for the first time? Last time I tried it, which wasn't too long ago, it was very easy to use, and I didn't really stumble. But any tips or hints towards people getting set up and running?
Not really. Again, the best tip or suggestion is just to go and use it. It's really a minimum distraction or change that you would notice. It's just as simple as an act and an extra double box that you install, and it'll show up, and you upload your case, you run it, you monitor it, you download the results. You have 1 terabyte on the cloud. You can keep the results for some time, but you obviously eventually can download the results. The best tip is to if it's some big jobs they've always wanted to try, just go grab or register for the free trial and then give it a shot and see how easy it is. Basically, it's you wouldn't notice that you're transitioning to the cloud. It's just one click and it uploads it.
Yeah, kind of. My thought was it's actually easier for me to run there than it is to steal time on somebody else's machine in the office. It's more of a hassle to do that. So Ansys Cloud really is the easiest and the preferred method of doing this, but there's other cloud solutions out there. Do you want to say a little bit about some of these third-party partners?
Yeah. So in a general view, basically, there are 3 different paths to Ansys simulation on the cloud. The easiest way, as you said, is the Ansys Cloud, but we have more concurrent sometimes one of the big ones probably can be mentioned is the ITAR restrictions that they might have, and other things. So the second choice for Ansys simulation on the cloud would be the partner managed cloud. And again, that solution would meet unique customer requirements, such as ITAR, as I said, and it's again usually backed by some local clusters that they have more secure restrictions on them. And sometimes customers want actually the cloud provider to provide them with a custom workflows, not necessarily the standard workflows that Ansys provides them with. So with those requirements, like security, extra security requirements or customized workflows, it comes the second option, which is working with cloud partners. And there are different cloud partners, and obviously we are also. You can probably introduce that part better. But each cloud partner has its unique capabilities and values added to the customer's experience. So with that, I don't know if you want to give an introduction to the Nimbix.
Yeah, so we're a Nimbix partner. We use Nimbix in our consulting team, as well as sell time on Nimbix's HPC clusters. So on top of using Ansys Cloud, we sometimes, for the reasons that you mentioned, sometimes running over on Nimbix is better. We're huge fans of the performance of those machines, as well as their interface. Not nearly as straightforward as it is with the Ansys Cloud, but they've got a nice web-based interface called Jarvis, which I'm still shocked that they don't get sued by Universal Studios or Marvel. It's Marvel, not Universal Studios. I'm dating myself. It's Universal Marvel / Disney for calling it Jarvis. But it's a really nice interface, and our consulting team has had a lot of good success for that. When a customer needs answers faster, we'll jump off our hardware and go out to the cloud, and it works quite well.
Yeah, and just to add, Nimbix is in business for like 10 years now. They were founded in 2010, so not new to the business, and they're serve primarily in North America. And again, they have really great experience with Ansys and very good HPC experience. I personally worked with them. So a great cloud partnership with Ansys, basically.
Especially really, really large jobs. So you want to run across thousands of cores. They're capable of doing that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Cool. Anything else you want to add? We mentioned the webinar. I think we mentioned the webinar for that. Let's mention it now. The webinar is coming up.
Yeah. I'm going to talk about more details of basically the introduction that I gave here to the cloud computing this Wednesday, April 22nd. So please, if you have time, join that and ask your questions there. You can always reach out and ask questions if you have any questions. We're ready. We're here to help you. And
good. And pre-COVID-19 style, like we've always done in the past, you don't have to turn your camera on like everybody else is. And all these non-engineers are insisting you turn your camera on. You can listen to our webinar without your camera. In fact, you can't turn your camera on. It's on Bright Talk, and you can go to our website /events, padtinc.com/events, or to go to brighttalk.com and search for PADT, and you'll find it there.
Yep.
Well, it's Friday afternoon, so I really do thank you at the end of a long week of taking time to explain all this to me and our listeners. And I'm wishing you a very uneventful and relaxing weekend.
Oh, thank you so much. It's probably going to be an uneventful weekend. That's guaranteed.
All right. Well, enjoy yourself. Thanks for your time.
Thanks. Thank you. Bye.
For me, the three takeaways from that talk are that Ansys Cloud is easy from a business transaction perspective. If you need that excess capacity, it's fairly easy to get it going from ordering it and getting it set up and logins and things like that. That's really a positive. That's where a lot of people have stopped trying to use cloud. So they made that really easy. And the actual number two is that, the actual task of running on the cloud, submitting your jobs and stuff is really easy. The user experience is very straightforward. And the most important one probably is you can try it out for 30 days for free. So we highly recommend everybody give that a try. You won't get a feel for how easy it is and how good it is, and maybe get some data to justify or not justify using it with the 30-day trial. So give it a try. We also have a webinar, as mentioned, coming up. It's called Bring Your Simulation Home with Ansys Cloud Solutions, and that is going to be online on the 22nd, which is Wednesday, I believe. Yes, Wednesday at 11 a.m., which is Pacific time. In Phoenix time. And we will, you can sign up for that by going to padtinc.com/events or go to brighttalk.com and search for PADT as all of our webinars. So it's commercial time. Please consider PADT as your Ansys supplier if you're in the southwestern U.S. and for simulation consulting and customization anywhere in the world. We are also just as good at additive manufacturing and product development, so give us a try. We love what we do, and our customers tell us that we are good at it. These are difficult times, and you may be facing some challenges you never expected. PADT is here to help. Just reach out and let's figure it out. We have moved most people home, but we still offer all the same products and services, including our 3D printing. So do reach out if you need some help. One of the realities of working from home is dogs and children in the background. So I don't know if that's going to come through on the mic or not. I'm not using my headphones. I'm using the actual fancy mic. That's Mo. If you hear him, he wants a treat. I got no Ansys news to report. PADT-wise, we really don't have anything specific to report. News related, because it's in a news paper, an online newspaper, and as well as a print one. You can follow along with it's a bit of a, when you know the background of a story, you know that it's not 100% accurate, but it's a look in the Phoenix Business Journal at PADT and 5 other companies on how we're dealing with the COVID-19 crisis. We were fortunate enough to be picked to be one of those companies. Very honored to have that happen. And they interview us about once a week, and they write it up from a journalist standpoint. And make us sound more exciting than we are. You can get a little bit of a feel for for how the company as a whole is dealing in this. So go to the Phoenix Business Journal, search for that. And then once you get to the Business Journal, if you search for PADT and then COVID, PADT space COVID, in the search bar, you'll find the post or posts as time goes by. There should be one a week. And the first one includes a very unflattering picture of me in front of our building. And you can tell by the weight gain that my coping mechanism with this crisis is cooking and eating. Let's talk about the Ansys blog. My 3 stories I picked that I recommend are amazing structural analysis examples for engineers. It's actually called 3 amazing structural analysis examples for engineers. The first one is an additive manufacturing example. The second is Alice Dyna. And the third is a really cool, huge offshore structure called a suction pile. And they're little short intros and explanations of why they're amazing, and then a link to the case study itself. So I highly recommend that for anybody interested in structural, or if you just care to look at some cool models. Number 2 is a really good article about the free Ansys academic resources for distance learning. So a lot of college students working from home. Maybe you had a lab before that you could go into to run Ansys. Now you got to do it from home. So it's a really good article that explains what all the options are. If you're a student or if you have offspring that are engineering students, I highly recommend you check that one out. And then the third one is called Perception Algorithms Are the Key to Autonomous Vehicle Safety. So this is kind of a high-level article about how autonomous vehicles sense the world around them. And, humans are really good at, taking things in through our eyes and using our brains to figure out what's going on. And they're trying to get computers to do that. And it's pretty cool. It's a good explanation of how all that works. It's a little bit more technical than you'll find in most publications. And it talks about how simulation is used. That's why it's in the Ansys blog, to train these things. So they run millions and millions of simulations to train the artificial intelligence behind the perception algorithms. We have 2 posts since our last podcast in the PADT blog. The first one was from Sina, and it's called Efficient and Accurate Simulation of Antenna Arrays in HFSS. And the second one is also an EMAG post. It's from Alec Gavarov. I have to always, I have a friend who has a similar name, so I always mispronounce poor Alec's name. And it's called Making Sense of DC-IR Results in Ansys SI Wave. So SI Wave is another high-frequency electromagnetics tool from Ansys, and it's used to do stuff like looking at DC-IR results. So do check that out if you're in that realm. Upcoming events. Ansys has a webinar, one where it's just talked about, called Bring Your Simulation. PADT actually has a webinar called Bring Your Simulation Home with Ansys Cloud Solutions. And that's on the 22nd, as I said, from 11 to noon Phoenix time, which is the same as Pacific time because we don't do daylight savings time. And then our next one is going to be next month in May, and that's May 6th. And it's called Optimizing Material Selection for Additive Manufacturing with Ansys Granta. And as you've listened to the podcast, we're huge fans of Ansys Granta. And we're going to actually take a look at using it for additive manufacturing because it's got a really cool material selection tool that goes into the whole way that you can pick materials for 3D printing. So do check that out if you're in that realm. Other PADT events, that one that might be of interest to listeners is after a couple weeks of going on these online Zoom meetings, not always in Zoom, but often is. There's people that are good at getting their point across, and there's people that struggle. And those of us with a more technical bent, I think, have been used to presenting a certain way online. Generally, bring up a PowerPoint, talk to the PowerPoint, everybody's sitting at their desk somewhere, no cameras, maybe even be on mute. Everybody's taking notes and doing different things. It's a very different dynamic than what we're seeing right now, as everyone's had to go home and use these tools. So with the Tech Council, we got the idea of doing a boot camp for technologists, so engineers and scientists and mathematicians and people like listeners to this podcast, to kind of retrain, kind of up your game to be a more effective user of online meetings and communicate with muggles, right? The non-technical people that are now in our realm using our tools, trying to talk to each other. And it's a really good overview, even if you're a pretty experienced speaker. We'll really look at what's different online, tips and tricks, and we'll have a lot of fun as well. And that's going to be on the 23rd from 9 to 10:30. And it's open to anybody. You don't have to be in Arizona or a member of the Tech Council. There is a small fee associated with it. And I'm asking you to put aside your engineer that you want everything for free because the Tech Council has seen a real reduction in revenue. And one of the reasons why we're doing this is a little bit of a fundraiser to kind of keep the doors open there. I shouldn't say keep the doors open. They're not ready to close, but to help them recover some revenue that's dropped off because of the virus. So join me. It'll be fun. You'll get to see my home office and learn a thing or two and laugh a little bit, hopefully. So again, go to padtinc.com/events, and there'll be a link there to register. And we'd love to have some people from the podcast join us. There's a really big Ansys event coming up, as you know, called Simulation World. I talked about it at the beginning of the podcast, and that's at simulation-world.com. And please do submit topics. And I'm going to go downstairs and get a treat for the dog. So thank you. Don't forget to subscribe to www.padtinc.com/opt-in. Spread the word, let people know about it, and do not hesitate to reach out. Thank you for joining us for the All Things Ansys podcast, episode number 61. As a reminder, this podcast is not affiliated in any way with Ansys Inc., and the opinions expressed are those of the people on the show only and not of their current or former employers. For more information, visit www.padtinc.com/blog, and please share your thoughts and questions through an email to podcast@padtinc.com. See you next time.